Blac Chyna was supposed to be here, but she canceled last night because she's saying that she couldn't get her glam done. But I think it's because there's a lot of stuff going online. Yesterday, one of her friends put her on blast, saying that she wasn't paid for doing a show with her. And then before that, she was recently on the Wendy Williams show where she talked about her mother being set in her ways. We all know her mother, Toni, has been a lot online to deal with. And I know that if my mother was still alive, being that she was bipolar and she was a former drug addict, I don't know how I would be able to handle her going live saying whatever she wants to say. But recently during a sit down with Wendy Williams, Blac Chyna responded about her mother bashing her across social media. Now, the two have always been at odds. They've always, had their drama, but ultimately it's your mom. And so in this case, Toni condemned her daughter for her life choices and said that with everything that she's done, even mimicking her career as a stripper turned celebrity, that she wasn't proud of her. Now, my mother used to always tell me that I was never going to be anything. You're going to be just like your father. You're going to be worthless or whatever. She used to say that to me as a kid. And so I know how I always grew up with the idea that I would be a failure, but that I turned that into the fuel that passioned me to fight through every obstacle that was put in front of me. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about her mother criticizing her and saying that, basically she's nothing?
I saw that Wendy Williams interview, and the way that China responded, she sounded like she had made peace with it. She was like, "My mother's gonna be my mother, and that's just who she is." Honestly, no disrespect to Tokyo Toni, I want no smoke from her. She seems like a lovely, very forceful woman, but she seems like a liability at a certain point in your career, especially where China is with her life. Her mother aside, is a liability, and I can see why she wants to pull back from being involved with Tokyo Toni in that way anymore. It's too much. It's way too much.
Yeah, and I think it's very classy for her to not speak on her mom negatively. That is your mom, and it's a short life, and you never know what can happen tomorrow. And the last things you want to see is a mother and a daughter arguing. I think Tokyo Toni has a journey. I think she has things she needs to still overcome, and I think China knows that, and I think China is still overcoming things. So I really love how China responded to that, and I just hope that that family can mend some of that because I think it's just to me, it's sad. I have a son. I would never want to speak on the internet badly about my son because at the end of the day, as a parent, it makes me look bad. You know what I mean? It reflects on me. So,
Exactly.
Well,
salute to Black
listen,
China.
listen. I'm not a fan of the kumbaya. That. Let me say something directly. I'm gonna say something to you women first, and then I'm gonna say something to the kids.
Here
To
we
you
go.
women, y'all be like my mother. Y'all be sleeping with these know nothing is having these babies. Stop opening your vaginal walls to men who already have women or that don't want you or to have a kid by you. Because when you create that kid and then you look at that as a seed of resentment, and then you want to put that kid through a full lifetime of persecution by telling them they're not going to be, that's because deep down inside, when you went to sleep on your pillow stained sheets, crying yourself to sleep because you realized that your life wasn't, stop transferring that responsibility to your child. And to the kids, I look at Blac Chyna, I feel like Blac Chyna became everything her mother could never have been. She's not as pretty as
Exactly.
Blac Chyna. I talked to Blac Chyna on the phone the other day before she got off the phone. She put Dream and King on the phone. Both seem like very smart kids. They both seem very happy. She seemed happy. I saw her on Wendy. She was pulled together. She looked great. At the end of the mother day, the one life that we all have to live has to be filled with happiness. And I just personally don't feel like China owes Tokyo anything. The fact that she gives her respect in the midst of her being a straight bitch, yo, my hat's off to her because my mother didn't get that love from me. I talk in my book about how mean I was to my mother. Now, hindsight 2020, I probably could have just, cut her off the way I've cut off my father. But, I just don't feel like, even though they say hurt people, that's not an excuse. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, Tokyo Toni goes out her way to condemn China. And China is always expected to take the high road. And I just don't think that that's fair. I think she's a person with real feelings. And the one question that I want to ask China is, why do you always take the high road when people try you? You always take the high road, except for that one time that she went and had a baby by Rob Kardashian. But other than that, she's always taking the high road.
Well, Jay said, you know what the sad part is? A lot of people don't want to admit this, but a lot of mothers who have had rough lives, instead of being happy for their daughters, end up being jealous of their daughters. We see this all the time in our community. I personally believe, and it sounds like you believe it as well. Damage probably agrees. Tokyo is jealous of her daughter. Her daughter is living the life that she never could. A lot of times, Black mothers, and we don't talk about this enough, by the way, guys, Black mothers need to be pulled aside because sometimes we have unresolved trauma and we want our sons to be the man that we couldn't get. So we make our sons these little kings to like replace the fathers that we chose improperly. And then we want our daughters to like be lesser versions of us because we're in competition with them. I'm really convinced that Tokyo Toni is jealous of her daughter. Chyna doesn't just give her grace, Chyna gave her a bag. The only reason that Tokyo Toni is on Zeus and all these networks is because Chyna is giving her a bag. I think at this point, if Chyna said, "Mom, kiss my ass," I wouldn't even be mad at her. I would not even be mad.
Yeah.
Mother or not, when you come for me publicly and you try me like that, I'm sorry. You could be sitting on the side of the road starving to death, and I just do not have the compassion to help you. Some people say, well, that's wrong. That's your mom. No matter what your mother does, you could do it. No, that is allowing yourself to be traumatized because somebody gave you life. They do not have the right to destroy yours. I am sorry. And I, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying for me, my father's birthday was like a week ago, and I didn't call him. Why? Because I don't feel like he's poured enough into my life to deserve me to be a part of his. And I gave him that chance on Love and Hip Hop to show up. If you want to be a part of my life privately, then you got to own up to your shit publicly, because that's just who I am now, and that's the life I live. And I think with Chyna, we don't know the demons that she's fighting every day. You think about it. Your baby daddy left you and went and had a relationship with a minor, and who was a sister of your friend, left you making all this money on OnlyFans and not even sending you any alimony, not even sending you any child support. Then you got another baby daddy who comes from a family full of money, and he's not allegedly paying you any child support. And you're doing this all on your own, and it's already tough for women out here to raise their kids anyway, but to raise them as a single mother and not have the baby daddies who are very capable of help you. Then you got your mom talking shit. Bitch, have a seat. Y'all come to court. The world. Give me my money. That's what
Angela,
I was.
Angela's a strong person. Angela does not get enough credit. She's incredibly strong, and I'm happy that we're finally pointing that out.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going on, Jason. I think you just broke it down right there perfectly. Look at all that situation happening. Her going back and forth for her mom will just continue. I think she has these classy responses because she's protecting herself. Tokyo Toni, from what I know, doesn't stop. When she's on a rampage, she's going in. And Chyna knows that. So she's like, my mom is stuck in her ways. It is what it is. Because that's a back and forth she probably don't need right now.
Protect your peace. She's protecting her peace.
Oh, and Blac Chyna, I know you didn't come to the show today because you couldn't get your makeup artist. But look, get your makeup together, girl, and come on here and tell your piece. And until then, peace.